Harry.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, we use the media in our lives every day. We have our computers, our cell phones, radio in our car, and we use it for all sorts of things to help us every day. It's our communication to the outside world. To get the weather, current events, we can listen to our favorite music, watch our favorite television shows. Media is an extremely important advance in technology nowadays, and it's a tool that we all kind of rely on in our lives. While we use this every day, and it's extremely important to us, many of us don't realize the dangers and harmful effects the media can have in our lives. I'm a teenage girl like most of you, and I have experienced firsthand a lot of the insecurities that can come with this age, and things such as like being insecure about like body image and just self-esteem all over. And I was thinking one day, like tracing back to like where these insecurities come from and why there's so many teenagers across the United States that have this problem as well. And I discovered that it has a lot to do with what we see in the media that we use every day. When you watch a commercial or read magazines, I myself would see the little tips and tricks and try to do them for myself and try to get closer to the media and what the public says is defined as pretty and beautiful and that sort of thing. But when I realized the more tips and tricks I used, the more further away from myself I was becoming, I realized I would also never be fully happy with myself because I could never completely obtain the media's image of what I was supposed to be. And also when I was thinking about this, I realized that with all the statistics that I found, it's not just me going through this, but it's across the United States, and it's all the teenagers that see the same media and messages that I've been seeing. So as teenagers, we're a target of the media. They aim most of their commercials and magazines straight at us to get our attention because we have the technology and we're at the right age for their advertisements to affect us directly. Using technology is extremely important and we rely on it, so it's not something that we should have to give up because it's detrimental to how we live our life, but we should just have a better awareness and understanding of why,
Jennifer Connell, if you're in the building, come to the office, please.
Of being able to filter out what we see from the accurate sources to the inaccurate sources, and having the awareness of that the media is not always true. So there are many reasons to avoid giving in to the social pressure of the media, and I have a couple of them to share with you guys. The first is the mental, emotional, and physical toll that it can take on all of us, and the toll it has taken on many teens across the United States. Second is a method of coping with the media and things that we see, how to prevent from giving in so easily and to be able to kind of take apart the messages that it's giving to us and be able to understand it better. Third, the difference between the consequences and the benefits of giving into the media and how it can be positive for you or how it can affect you negatively overall. First are some of the terrible effects that the media has had on people our age every day, and it still continues, mentally, emotionally, and physically. A huge one is depression. Depression hits all over the United States, and it can be in all levels of severity, but it depends on kind of what your background is a lot of the time. But if you think about it, if you have that weak, unstable thread inside you that you're not confident of something, and the media hits that you're supposed to be someone that you're not, it can set you off balance and cause that depression to take place. And depression can also lead to suicidal thoughts and suicide itself. So these are extremely detrimental effects from the media that can hit us directly. Some of the statistics that come along with the physical health and eating disorders that affect teenagers are, according to the National Institute on Media and the Family, about 38% of 13-year-old girls claim to be unhappy with their bodies. By the time they get to 17 or 18, like most of us are now, 78% claim to be unhappy with their bodies and insecure. And this stems from the media, the main source, because if you think about it, how would they get these images in their head of what they're supposed to look like, and why they would be unhappy. It's because they see what the public views that they should look like, and they get into their head that they don't look like they should. So they become unhappy. 1 in 100 girls between the ages of 12 to 18 are diagnosed with anorexia every year. 1 in 100 is an extremely high number. That's got to be several in our school, and it's all over the United States. It just increases with age and kind of dies down by the time they get in their midlife. But that also comes from the National Institute on Media and the Family. And if you think about it, 1 in 100 with anorexia is kind of a mindset, and it's developed. It's not something that just naturally occurs in the body. They have to have that mindset that they want to be thinner and stop eating. And when they see things like this on TV, it kind of puts in their mind they want to look more like that. They have to eat less, and eventually nothing. And it's an extremely dangerous and deadly disease. When girls and guys look around in school between certain ages, they start to see their peers becoming like thinner than them, or if they already are thinner, and they start doing unnatural things to kind of like prevent themselves from becoming bigger themselves, like diet shakes and even surgeries, eating disorders. Exercising without a proper nutrition is a huge one, and like these all occur at such a young age. It's kind of scary, but the truth is, everyone's body changes when they go through puberty and whatnot, and it's something that should naturally occur and take place, and we shouldn't try to undo it or prevent it from happening. Just continue to be healthy. So that brings me to my second point of avoiding misleading information. There's a process that I've learned that's really helpful, and it helps you take apart advertisements kind of and be able to tell more about what it's doing and give you the realization when you see it. The first step is asking who the advertisement is targeting. The second step is realizing how realistic the advertisement actually is. And the third is what makes the advertisement so appealing. So as an example, I have this Victoria's Secret ad, and I just wanted to demonstrate kind of how it works and how we should use it every day. So the first question is, like, who is the advertisement targeting? Clearly it's targeting young girls that like Victoria's Secret, or just our age kind of, and females in general. And something that really stood out to me was, like, it's called Love My Body. A lot of girls aren't going to be happy if they see that. They have to look like that to love their body and truly be happy. But this brings us to the second step, is how realistic is this advertisement? It may seem like that's what you're supposed to look like when you wear Victoria's Secret, but Dove did a campaign called Real Beauty, and it took a picture of normal women and more kind of average-looking girls and compared it to the Victoria's Secret to kind of show and contrast how unnaturally thin that the models really are, and more on a realistic scale of what girls should not have to worry about looking like. So how realistic is the ad? Clearly not very, because there's not that many women that look like that. And the third is what makes it so appealing. And as we can see, like, they're all beautiful and they're really tiny and they look good in what they're wearing, but that's like what it's supposed to appeal to you as, and it's called Love My Body. They want to make you think that you have to look like that and wear those to truly love your body. So that's just one example of an advertisement that you can kind of read further into and discover that it's not true, and it can kind of help you keep your confidence when you look at it like that. So where we can find advertisements like these, they're all around us. In our school library, we have tons of them, like Teen Vogue and 17, and in almost every single issue of 17, there's a weight, fat burning, exercise issue in almost every single one of them, and that's just kind of an example of how much they encourage you to have a better body than you have right now. Also, there's like I said, Teen Vogue, Cosmo 17, they're all surrounding us, they're in our school library, and we run into them all the time. But when we pick things up like that, we need to remember, they're not always true, they're targeted for us to make us unhappy, so we want to buy the product to be happier with ourselves. Then my third point is the benefits and consequences of giving into the media. And it may seem kind of like a given and obvious that the benefits are better and the consequences are worse if you give in to the media. But like overall, if you were to take most of the things we've talked about, the consequences can lead to a lack of self-esteem. And that's just kind of broad for what we've covered with the physical, mental, and emotional tolls that it takes. Lack of self-esteem can lead to so many things like weakened relationships. That's a huge one because a lot of us have heard if you're not happy with yourself, how can you be happy with other people? And it's so true because in order to give your friends that confidence and like fully be happy around them, you have to be happy with yourself and not always worrying about trying to fit in. Another consequence can just be not being healthy, like I said earlier. So that kind of weighs out opposites of the benefits. It's healthier for you, clearly, if you're happy with yourself. You don't try to do unnatural things to your body that it's supposed to do. And stronger relationships and better example for others. We are all an example to someone, like people younger than us, our friends. We're all peers and have peers. And if we are insecure all the time and concerned with what we're looking like, we're not worrying about the other people that we care about or should care about and how they view themselves and us. So overall, we covered all the insecurities that teens face can all be traced back to the media in some way or another because it has a way into our everyday lives, and why it's so important to have the mindset and awareness when we read about the media and the advertisements targeted toward us. So hopefully we have a better understanding and we can filter out the positive from the negative information and the accurate from the inaccurate sources. And I urge you guys to have this in mind when you see it, and when you see others or you feel yourself starting to kind of give in to looking different like the public wants you to do, to know like that they're targeted to make you feel insecure, and it's something that can easily be avoided. So make the difference to people, including yourselves and those who you care about, of receiving confidence without the media's involvement. Don't be another statistic due to the influence of people that you don't even know that could live on the other side of the world, and don't let them get to you. Because, as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Thank you very much.